I'm Jennifer Della Quadri, and this is Subtle Shifts, the podcast where you'll learn how to transform your life from the inside out, one small, meaningful shift at a time. Let's dive in. Welcome back to the podcast. I've been having a lot of conversations lately with women around one thing, and that is that they're feeling stuck in their life. Like they don't really know what's next, but they also know that they don't really want to go back to what they were doing or who they were in the past, but they just kind of feel like they're in this messy middle. And when I came up with the idea of writing this podcast, I usually like to do my thinking and my writing in the morning before I've, started to consume social media content, talk with people. I like to speak with what's on my heart in my writing and in my prepping. But today I came across a clip or an excerpt from Glennon Doyle's new book, We Can Do Hard Things, that really resonated with me. And I knew that it would resonate with so many of you, because if you're anything like all of these women that I've been speaking with, you are feeling kind of lost and confused and just uncertain about what's next. So I'm going to read the excerpt to you, and then I'm going to share with you some thoughts on it and also some strategies on how to move past this feeling of stuckness. So here is the excerpt from the book. True belonging has forever felt inaccessible to me. As far back as I can remember, I have felt like a little bit of an alien, like an outsider looking in. My inner voice is always saying, I don't belong here. I don't belong here. Why can't I belong here? The only real belongingness I've ever felt in my entire life is in my home with these 4 particular people. So as my kids grow up, it's not just a loss of identity that I'm struggling with, but a loss of the only belongingness I've ever felt. It's really hard. As they move on and out and away, my energy is suddenly desperate. I'm chasing everybody. I'm not just reaching out and grabbing at them over and over again. Too many calls, too many texts, too many hugs, too many bids for attention. That is not how I want to be. I don't want to spend the rest of my life chasing my butterflies. I want to create a butterfly garden that's so beautiful that I can't help but come back. To do that, I need to find a way to embody the centeredness and a piece of a person who has done her job well and now gets to rest and live and know her babies will return when they want to, not because they sense that I need them to. It's such a beautiful quote, and it really does speak to that feeling of belongingness that so many of us crave and that we really had fulfilled when our kids were little and when they were the center of our universe. We had our own little harmonious bubble with them. And they were like a unit of safety, really a part of your wholeness. And your role in that unit was clear. But ultimately, as they get older and as you evolve, your role shifts. And then you start to question, well, who am I outside of this role? Your identity is being challenged. And no one wants to feel like they're striving for their kids to come back and to give them love or to accommodate or fill that gap of wholeness that's missing. We want to be able to find that on our own. But when we're in this, what I call the messy middle, there's so much uncertainty around what to do or how to do that. Because when they're young, you're in survival mode. You're too busy to think about your purpose and your life and what's next, because you're living moment to moment. But as they get a little bit older, you have more space. But with that space, it's overwhelming. It's exciting, but it's also overwhelming. And it's so easy to just go back into the known. But there is a restlessness in the known, right? There's a quiet nudge to do something else, to do something more. And so really when women are coming to me, they come to me all the time. They're sad about the loss of their former selves, but they know they don't really want to go back to that. And they're just kind of feeling stuck. And they don't know yet who they want to become. So if this is resonating with you, right? If you've been spending time in this space just wondering, who am I? What's my purpose? And ultimately, the question is, are my best years behind me? It's so hard to look forward when you're grieving the past. So right now, if you're feeling this way, you're in the call phase of the subtle shifts method. If you aren't familiar with the subtle shifts method, I'm going to link it in the show notes below so you can go and have a listen to that. It's just a really quick episode to give you an idea, but you're in the call phase of this method. There's a nudge. The old way doesn't really fit anymore, but you're not really sure what the new way looks like yet. But the question is, are you going to answer the call? And I actually recently asked one of my clients this. She was feeling that call, and I asked her, are you going to answer that call? And she immediately was resistant because, she has a job. She's got her kids. Her kids are teenagers, right? She's got a husband. And she thought, gosh, if I answer the call, that means I'm going to be letting go of all of these things that I've created and built. I can't leave my job, right? I still need to be a mom. I still want to be a wife. But that's not what answering the call means. It doesn't mean letting go of everything that you've created. It means building the next level of your life on top of the foundation that you've already created. You've learned so much in these past however many years since your 20s. I like to think of 20s because in your 20s, many of us are in our exploratory phase of figuring out who we want to be, et cetera. And then we have kids and we're like, oh my gosh, kids, I'm busy with kids and life. And then you kind of revisit that 20-year-old kind of feeling, but you're not in your 20s anymore. And there's so much life that you've built up to this point. And that's amazing because it's a strong foundation for you to build this next level on. So you're not letting go of who you were. You're just evolving into who you're becoming, right? So really answering the call just means acknowledging that you're outgrowing your current life, your current identity, and acknowledging where you are. I'm in the messy middle. That's all you're saying when you answer that call. Really, that's the first step. Once you do that, you can have gratitude for where you've been. You're not looking at it as though through rose-colored glasses, like everything's amazing, everything was perfect, I wish I could go back. That's not the intention here. It's not regret. It's not longing. It's just appreciation for all of the good and the not so good that you've gone through. And all this growth that you've made through this whole process. So once you've acknowledged, you've appreciated, the next step is to really get curious. Okay, what could be possible for me? And start exploring. And really the best way to do this is to do something different. Especially in midlife, we get so stuck in our routines, in what time we wake up, what our mornings look like, what we do midday, what happens when we come home, what dinner's all about, right? What time we go to bed, what shows we watch, how much time we spend on our phones, how much time we spend with this and that and the other. It's like a well-worn path that's so easy and so known. So the best way to get curious is to try something different, to mix it up a little bit. You're not blowing it up, you're just mixing it up. I'm going to go try something different. Maybe a different fitness class. Maybe I'm going to learn something new, take a class at the community college. Maybe I'll go and do a meetup. Maybe I'll go meet up with a friend that I haven't talked to for a while. Maybe I'll walk down a different street. Maybe I'll take a different path, right? So when you shake it up, you're giving yourself the opportunity to have new experiences, new awarenesses. You're stepping out of your comfort zone and you're normalizing that it's okay to be uncomfortable. Because when you're in that call phase, the comfortable and the known feels safe, and thinking about doing something different feels scary. But when you get out of your comfort zone, you're normalizing that, oh, this is just part of life, is feeling like things are a little bit shaky or feeling like things are a little bit unknown. You used to have that all the time when you were a kid. All kinds of new stuff was coming your way. But when you get later on in life, you just figure out what you like and you stick with it. But how are you going to know what you like or find new things to like if you don't try new things? So that's part of the curiosity phase. Read a different genre of book. Go travel somewhere you've never been. Do something that's going to challenge you to get out of your comfort zone a little bit. Okay? So once you've done that, then you're going to evaluate. That's how you integrate these things into your life. You're like, okay, so I tried that. How was it? And I don't mean you tried it once and you're like, okay, that's not for me. You try it a few times. You mix it up a few times. You step out of your comfort zone a couple of times. And then you go back and you think, all right, how am I doing? How was that for me? And one of the biggest things that the women that I talk to are struggling with is just a lack of connection and community, especially in these last 5 years, as we spent several years in just kind of isolation. And that's when we all got stuck in a rut. I like being home. It's comfortable. Yeah, it's comfortable being home, but it's also boring as heck. You don't want your life to be boring. You want to be able to do things that light you up. And that's where you're evaluating. Did that light me up? Did that spark something? Did I meet someone new? Who inspired me here? What is it that's filling me up here? And it's okay to let things go. Maybe you have the biggest hope of you try something, you're like, this is going to be my new thing. And then it's not. That doesn't mean anything about you. It's just like, okay, trial and error, just like a scientist. Make decisions and then adjust and then try something new over and over and over. So those are the steps of getting out of your comfort zone. That's the main thing that's going to get you out of that feeling of stuckness. And really what you're doing, you're not striving to find your quote thing. There's too much pressure associated with that. You're just experimenting and you're getting playful with it. Okay? So remember, when you answer the call, you're not starting something new. You're not like starting afresh. You're taking every part of your life experience up to this point with you. And you have so much more experience now that you get to bring along with you. And as you experience these new things, you're then going to be starting to form and create a new, evolved identity. And this identity will feel more aligned with who you're becoming and less tied to who you were. And that's where the striving ends. You're not spinning your wheels trying to figure things out because you feel content in your everyday. You feel content in your actions and also purposeful through them. And really, you're going to know you're on the right track when you feel that. There's contentment, but there's also excitement. Comfort isn't a bad thing unless it turns into just a lack of fulfillment and a boring life. So if you're bored, you need to get out of your comfort zone. So finding things that light you up, where you lose track of time, you're not anxious about the future or sad about the past, you're just really where you are, and you're no longer asking yourself if the best years of your life are behind you, because you know that they're not. And it takes time. It's filled with ups and downs. This experience is not a one and done thing. There's going to be setbacks. There's going to be leaps forward. It's a journey. And it can also really feel isolating, which is why having support along the way can really help smooth out those edges. Just having a space where you can talk about what's working, what's not working, and what you want to do about it. And that's where coaching comes in. And that's what I do with clients, and that's what I can help you do. Sort through all of those thoughts and feelings that are keeping you in place, and together we're going to explore what's next for you while honoring what has transpired so far. And together, I'm going to help you overcome the obstacles that are just standing in the way of your evolution. Those conscious and subconscious self-doubt thoughts, the limiting beliefs, the assumptions, those habits that are so deeply ingrained that are just holding you in place. That's my specialty. And you don't have to spend hours journaling, reading all the books, or listening to all the podcasts, because in just a few conversations, we're going to clear all that out. And it's specific to you. It's not some general guideline. And really, it just starts with a complimentary consultation, where I'm going to tell you exactly what's standing in the way of you getting started and moving forward with a clear direction in your life. The link to schedule is in the show notes to get started, and I look forward to seeing your name on my calendar. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next time. Thank you for joining me. If you're ready to take the next step in transforming your life, be sure to subscribe so you'll never miss an episode. And if something resonated with you today, I'd love to hear about it. Share your thoughts, tag me on social media, or leave a review to help others find the podcast. Remember, the smallest shifts can create the biggest transformations. I look forward to hearing from you.